Hi, my MOMAFEY family. Welcome to Small Steps, Big Changes podcast. Come on in. We are home. Take your seat and relax. The next couple of minutes will change your life. Last time we talked about the great comeback. This recovery isn't pretty, but it is powerful. It told you about practical ways to come back from medical and surgical recovery. And I hope you've been taking those small steps towards healing and wholeness, or using the information to help somebody else through their process of healness and wholeness. Now, here's my question for you today. What do you do when the world tells you no? When you've given all your best, showed up prepared, but you're still not chosen. Whether it was for a job or a relationship or an opportunity, or even sometimes a friend group. And yes, sometimes even your own family can make you feel like you are not chosen. If this is your first time listening to me, I'm MOMAFEY, and I'm your coach, your motivator, and my mission is simply to give you lifestyle-driven answers that fit your busy day, while I'm trying to equip you to strive at home, at work, and every relationship that matters. This podcast is rooted in my work in healthcare and personal growth, because I believe change starts with you and me, and with the small steps we take every day. So today, I want to talk about something we all face at some point, and that is rejection. Whether it is not getting chosen for a job or a relationship or a friend group, rejection really hurts. And there's a reason it feels so heavy. Different healthcare providers and research tells us rejection actually lights up the same part of our brain as physical pain. No wonder it stings so much. So here are 5 emotions we often experience when we're dealing with rejection. I want us to be able to identify so we can know that that's what we're going through. The first one is shame and self-doubt. That's that sinking feeling of I wasn't good enough. Next, there is anger and resentment, sometimes toward the people who rejected us, and sometimes it can even be towards ourselves. And then there's isolation and withdrawal, wanting to pull away from others because you feel left out. And then there's anxiety and overthinking, where you get to start replaying those moments over and over in your head, wondering about future rejection and asking yourself what went wrong. Then there is that sadness and hopelessness, feeling heavy, discouraged, and sometimes stuck. So here's the question for you today. How do I come back from rejection when it feels like I wasn't enough? Here's the truth. Rejection is not the end of your story. It's often redirection. Now, here's my story. When I would go up for opportunities or job interviews, especially when I was first starting out and I was young, anytime that I did not get it, or if I was trying to get into a group and they did not seem to want to receive me into that group or into a team or whatever it was that I was facing, I remember feeling so rejected. And some of these emotions that we talked about earlier, I remember going through those emotions, and it would sometimes hit hard. And a lot of times, because the dangers of rejection is that not being rejected is the biggest danger. The danger is it can cause you to not want to try again. And that is the biggest danger of rejection. But I remember I had one particular interview, and this is now years later, and I hadn't been on an interview for a while, but I was looking for another job. And so I had applied, and this is something that I'll talk about later, applying for more than one opportunity, so that sometimes if one doesn't work out, you don't feel so devastated because you know that you have another offer out there for you. So always try to go for more than one opportunity at a time. Don't just try to wait till this one come through and then I'll, try to get the next one. Go for multiple ones at a time. You can always figure out which one is the best one for you later. So what I did was I went to this interview, and like I said, it has been a while since I interviewed. I did prepare. I did go through some steps, and I tried to do some retraining of how to interview and how to show up. And I have a lesson and a video on that. So the day came for me to do this interview, and this was a video interview, which was a little bit different for me because I'm used to in-person interviews. So that by itself was kind of presented a challenge for me, but I'm up for the challenge. So I started the interview. It was going great. I could see that we were connecting. I could see that, it was going well. And then somewhere in the interview, I don't know what happened. Well, I do know what happened. It had something to do totally without the interview. But I went blank. I couldn't answer the question, even though it was a very simple question. But for some reason, my mind went blank. And so, I finished the interview and everything. And I would say the very next day, and usually they take a little while before they, let you know that you're not chosen. But that next day, I was given this notice saying that I was not chosen. So, of course, you feel rejected because, of course, it was an opportunity. And like I said, I had applied for another one, but I hadn't heard from them. And so I, felt a little rejected. But the difference this time was different from when I was younger. When I was younger, that would have devastated me. But I saw that I had progress and that I had grown, because what I did was I learned from that interview. I took the skills, since I was new to video interviews. I went and learned some more skills about how to do these video interviews. And when I used the skills and I was prepared, guess what? The next interview, I landed the job. And not only did I land the job, I ended up with a higher salary offer than the offer was for the last job. So what am I saying to you? Don't let rejection stop you from trying again. Now, here are 3 things you want to do when you are dealing with and having feelings of rejection. First, reframe the rejection. Instead of asking, why wasn't I chosen? Ask, what is it that this rejection is protecting me from? Sometimes not being invited into a room saves you from years of misalignment with people who really don't think like you. They may have a hidden agenda that they may think you will not go along with. So a lot of times when you're rejected from a group, sometimes you're not the problem. It's just that they can look at you and tell that you're not going to be with some of the stuff that they are about. And so sometimes you have to be thankful that you didn't get into that group of friends. You didn't get on that team. You didn't, because you may not see it today, but later on in life, sometimes you'll meet up with those same people and you'll be like, oh, I'm so glad I never did get into that. Next, anchor yourself in one win a day. Rejection makes us want to focus on the loss. And a lot of times, sometimes it can cause you to not want to try again. But instead, take the things that you did to prepare for the last opportunity and use it to fuel you for the next. Focus on your strength will help you build the momentum and confidence. And remember, I said, don't stay focused on that. Yes, sometimes you have to look at it and reflect and see where you go. Because like I said, some of the stuff that I did in that interview, yes, it was, I went blank. that was, something that, a lot of times people want you to be able to answer a little bit more quicker. They don't want you to be hesitating and taking too long to answer, because they want your answer to be authentic, not just something that is rehearsed. So, and I was trying to give them a really authentic answer. Because when you get to a certain point in your life, you're not about pretenses anymore. You know that the experiences that you have, and you know that you're experienced and skilled in what you do, so you become a little bit more confident. And then redirect your energy into your growth. Channel that particular sting of rejection into action. It is an opportunity, so for you to do just like I did. In this case, I had already updated my resume, but sharpen your skills, take a course, read a book, practice a new skill, use that gap time after the rejection to be open to other opportunities that you wouldn't even consider. Because sometimes we are trying to go on one track, and sometimes, especially those of us that are believe in a higher power, or we believe in God, sometimes it's directing us to a whole nother better opportunity. Just think, if I would have gotten that first job, I wouldn't have never known that there was another job out there doing the same thing. It was in the same arena, but it was paying way more. So sometimes that rejection is bringing you to look for other opportunities. And sometimes the person or friends that you trying to get into that circle, a lot of times that circle, when you come back to it, you find out that those people were fake anyway. Next, keep planting seeds. Don't stop applying, reaching out, and showing up. Momentum matters. The more seeds you plant, the less that no feels like the end of your story. And remember, I said, look for other opportunities. Don't just apply for one opportunity. And one thing that I've always found out is have more than one groups of friends. So if one group, doesn't accept you, you have other options of people that you can be with, you can hang with. It's not the end of the world. And then create a next step plan of action. Don't sit in that no. Make a quick list of the next 3 doors you're going to knock on. My personal favorite is stop applying to one opportunity, like I said, and look for other programs, joining a different team, or learning a new skill so that you can be better for the next. Now, if you're experiencing relationship rejection, limit the self-blame. It's healthy to reflect, but don't carry responsibility that doesn't belong to you. Relationships involve 2 people. Your worth is defined by, it really isn't defined by one no. Make sure that you have that safe circle, friends, mentors, faith groups. Connection helps you buffer the sting of disconnection. That is why it's good to belong to more than one circle. Remember I said, don't limit yourself. Being in a circle will help you as far as for tomorrow. Now, if you want more information about these subjects and more, subscribe to my Understanding Cycles by Mama Faye podcast. And I also have a newsletter as well on substack.com. And this is where I will give more information and more insight on the relationship seasons. And it also will be where I will do additional insight. I wrote a book called Understanding Cycles, and you can go to my website and get it off of MOMAFEY-HT, or you can also find it on Barnes & Noble, where you can purchase the paperback book. And finally, I want to tell you to keep your heart open. Rejection can tempt us to want to shut down emotionally and to stay stuck in the moment. And if you are not careful, staying stuck in the past, it'll be in the past. At first, you'll be stuck in the future. Then when you know you'll still be stuck, because I know people who have tried different things and you may say, oh, why don't you try again? Oh no, I tried that before and that did not work and I'm not trying that again. And a lot of times what happens is they have a new opportunity. Hopefully you've grown. Hopefully you've gotten more skill, you've gotten more knowledge and more insight. So a lot of times go back and try again. Maybe the first time, yeah, it didn't work out and it was, uncomfortable and yeah, it was a hard rejection. But sometimes if you try again, you might succeed. So these are not just lofty ideas, they're everyday steps that you can take and actually do. Now, if any of this resonated with you, I also want to invite you to continue to follow me at MOMAFEY-HT on all websites. And also I have a newsletter, but I also have a Understanding Cycles podcast as well. For those, it's more inspirational. And if you want to become a part of that, you can become a part of that as well. And before I close, I do want to tell you that I see you. You may feel rejected, overlooked, or not enough, but you are still here, and that means your story is not finished. Now, next week, I'm going to be starting a new series, and this particular series is about raising kids with intentional parenting. I'll dive into what it really means to guide your children with intention in today's noisy world. You don't want to miss this. And to get ahead of that series, I did do a book, and I just revised that book, and it's called Parenting on Purpose Today. It's an ebook, and it's available on my website, and that is where I will be doing the discussion will come from. And if you also, it's going to provide you with the context, and it will help you to be ready for the next couple of series that I'm going to do. All right. So in the meantime, remember, small steps really do lead to big changes. And until next time, take care. Make sure you reset. Make sure you don't allow the people that say no or the rejections in your life to keep you from moving forward. And I'll see you next time.